On YouTube. Go away. Good evening. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. Lots to talk about this evening. Around about an hour ago, half an hour ago, no, I'm not quite sure now. Around about half an hour ago, every single fan media would have put out this, along with the Green Brigade, the boys, the Celtic Trust, and all the organisations that were at the meeting last night. At Sunday's match versus Kilmarnock, Celtic's 12th man will enter the stand on the 12th minute to remind the Celtic FC board that it exists. This is a bold and visual vocal protest. Follows the recent open letter signed by 420 signatories, which the board failed to respond to. A consultation meeting with those signatories. As a collective of fans, we wish no detriment to the team, but we believe necessary steps must be taken to demonstrate our discontent and remind the board football is nothing without fans. Once we enter the stand, the team will receive ferocious backing by the fans for the whole night, the rest of the game. Anyway, it is what it is. It is the beginning. It is the beginning. And it's an exciting beginning, because hopefully at the end of this, we can get a better club. I'm not going to say we'll get our club back, because we won't get our club back. I don't think that that's ever going to be on the agenda. But I want to talk about Chris Sutton this evening. Chris Sutton, this afternoon, directly or indirectly, decided to put an article in the Daily Record. Chris Sutton urges Brendan Rodgers to clarify his future as he makes Jurgen Klopp comparison. Sutton, shut up. You take enough money off the fans when you go to events around the country, Sutton. You have your little kid-on thing with your pal on the telly. Your wee hun pal on the telly. You know, you share a car with them and it's all fun and games and it's all part of the wind-up. And you're now using the media against Brendan Rodgers. There is no need to put pressure on Brendan Rodgers at this stage. I think Chris Sutton has went a step too far, personally. The Hoops boss is preparing to face the media tomorrow after a interesting fortnight at Celtic. There's been talk about the boss looking for an exit. Chris Sutton does not need to put pressure on Brendan Rodgers via the media. And since that went out now, I've got to say, it wasn't written by Chris Sutton. It was posted by Michael Gannon. But Chris Sutton would have known that this article was going out. Chris Sutton putting pressure on the manager. Whose side is he on? Is he on the fan side or is he on the board side? There's already been leaked information, leaked agenda from the Celtic PLC to put Brendan Rodgers under pressure. Is Chris Sutton on the side of the board or is he on the side of the fans? Because I'm going to say it again, Chris Sutton takes a pretty penny out of the Celtic fan base on a monthly basis when he goes to his little Celtic events. I was at one just recently, handsomely paid that evening. We'll take the cash. But what side are you on, Chris? Are you performing to the clowns and your power brokers? Do you know, who are you working with, Chris? Whose side are you on? Are you really a Celtic fan, Chris? You might have played for the club, and yes, you'll talk nonsense on Twitter and you'll talk nonsense on telly and you'll try and wind up Chris Boyd. But I think this was a step too far, especially the day, and this was well thought out, because it's the day before the press conference, and we noted today that Celtic did not put out a player to the media today. It's the first time on a Thursday before a game at the weekend that we have not. Now, they maybe put out a player and then they'll go put out Brendan Rodgers tomorrow, but they usually do it on a Thursday, but we'll wait and see. They'll probably do it tomorrow because it is the Sunday game, and Brendan Rodgers will be wanting to keep as much people focused at Lennoxtown as possible, because as it stands tonight, all the mainstream media now knows of the agenda for the Celtic fans for the weekend. The battle lines have been drawn. The media will take up their positions to put pressure on Celtic, not just on the Celtic board, but the team, the manager. They like nothing better than seeing Celtic fall to pieces. The narrative that Celtic are 3 games away from a disaster is absolute nonsense in this day and age. Celtic are top of the league as we stand tonight, and we'll be top of the league at the weekend. We'll finish the weekend top of the league, as far as I'm concerned. Sutton does my head in. Met him as a kid. Might have been a player for us, but trust me, off camera and in real life, he's an arrogant bastard. He is, I've got to say. Sutton's on everyone's side. He gets paid. Yeah. I was disappointed when I seen the article. The article went out at 5 o'clock Celtic part-time tonight, and the timing was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. But together as a fan base, fuck the media. And I know that certain parts of the organisations within everything that is happening want to get friendly media. Well, just look what happened today. Before anything was released by the Green Brigade, well, you've seen the video I put out this afternoon, there was a leakage. There was a leakage in the Herald Group and their minions at the Celtic Way, their Celtic version of the Herald, who also own the Rangers Review, by the way. They're just putting that out there. And they also own the Rangers Review. It is what it is, as I say. Fans in agreement, right, back them 100%. God bless the Pope's 11. Full stadium tifo, letting the board know that's not going to happen. The money that you're talking for a full stadium tifo, you're talking about 30 grand. That 30 grand can be better spent on other things that they've planned in the future. But anyway, there was an interesting an article in the Mail that I want to talk about, because it was interesting that the back in December the club had 65.4 million sitting in the bank. They sold a striker to Rennes for 10 million and failed to place him in that January window. Despite knowing the Champions League playoff was in the pipeline, they punted a winger to Como for 16.5 million. Jota out injured, and they moved with the pace of a sloth, trying to find suitable replacements. The forward line is at its weakest in 30 years heading into the game at Almaty. That's unbelievable to think that the Celtic power brokers knew that this was the weakest strike force that we'd had in years. With the fan base that's lost faith in the club and it's operating, the talk is now of demonstrations, boycotts, votes of no confidence. Rodgers has tried to plant a flag in the middle ground in the past. The middle ground no longer exists. Brendan Rodgers, during the dying days of the transfer window, did try to come across as a go-between between the men that love Celtic, seemingly, the men that have Celtic's best intentions at heart, the same men that released information to a Sun journalist last Saturday morning. If the Sun are in the building at the week tomorrow for the press conference, Brendan Rodgers should refuse to answer any questions. Because if he's made to answer questions by the Sun journalist that's there, the information came from the PLC. And the clown that's been sitting at the side of Brendan Rodgers, that's worked at Celtic PR for 20 years, needs to be one of the first to go from Celtic. Yeah, Jim McClarty says that Sutton is a typical English tit, has to agree with everyone to keep on their good side and will say anything for attention. Jimbo says the 10-minute protest is nonsense. Jimbo, come back into the comments and tell me why you think it's nonsense and what way that they should start. This is just an opening volley. This is just to let them know that the board members will be sitting in the stadium at Kilmarnock, and they will see that the fans have stayed outside. There will be protest banners put up when they come in. We'll have to start somewhere. We might not all agree with it, and you're never going to get the whole Celtic fan base to agree, but the people that were all there last night, the 90 people that were online, all agreed that that was the way forward. Now, there'll be a lot of people that sit at home that don't go to games might say, you know, back the team, fuck the boards. There has to be some kind of protest met, and we have to get it across and gain as much media publicity as the 10 minutes. It's 12 minutes, yeah, it's 12 minutes. It was 10 minutes last night and they added 2 minutes onto it for the great headline, 12 minutes without the 12th man. So they changed that last night after the meeting. It was meant to be 10 minutes. But it's a great looking article, great wee flyer there. But anyway, coming in the 12th minute does grab the media attention. It puts it out there. Peter King, what it does do is when the fans come into the game, it should give the players a buzz. Because the fans aren't going to come in and it's not going to be like Celtic Park. When the fans go to away games, it's completely different to you lot. I'm sorry. But have you heard Celtic Park in some games? I don't know, you hear people sitting rustling their sweetie papers and drinking their drinks and stuff. The fans at the away games are the fans that will make the most noise about this. I have no doubts about it whatsoever. The way fan support, and yes, I'm behind the people that go to away games because they're the lifeblood of Celtic, and for people, and I'm going to say it, and everyone might not agree with me, but people that do not spend their money going to away games every single week, do not spend the money going over to Kazakhstan, they're the ones that will be most vocal. They'll be more vocal than 50,000 Celtic fans sitting in Celtic Park in a couple of weeks' time. They will back the team when they come in on the 12th minute. They will back the team vocally more for the remaining period of that game than the majority of Celtic fans do at Celtic Park on a weekly basis. Sorry if it upsets you, and if you're needing a little cuddle with someone, I'm sure you'll have a teddy in the house or something. We might struggle to get replacements to sack the board. Nope, I don't think so. Who would come to a team who fans sack their board? Lots of organisations have people forced out. Do you know? Anyway, I see the split happening online already, but I'm glad that the people that were all there in the meeting last night went with the majority. Be there on Sunday, get behind the players and the manager from the 12th minute. Says Scott. He knows the crack. Look, we might not like what's going on, but we are as a majority just now, and that's what makes the difference. Anyway, a fan base that's lost all its faith in the way that the club has been run. The board put out a statement saying, look, we didn't lowball offers. Social media are inaccurate. Social media is misleading. Social media puts out misleading information. Well, John Paul Taylor, if you're watching this, Lawwell, if you're watching this, Celtic media guys, if you're watching this shit ain't going away, lads. This shit ain't going away. We're just getting started. And the Celtic fans will want some kind of conclusion to this debacle. Absolute debacle in the way that the club is being run. Now, you'll get people that are saying, look, the club's run fine. It's run fine. It's, there's always someone else. Peter King's got it right. There's always someone else who will do a better job than this board. Look at the man that the board got rid of. Right, whilst we're on this, remember that on the community tab, I do have a vote. It has had 275 votes already. I'm not doing it on the live because the vote goes away after that. It's had 290 votes on the community tab on the main part of the page on YouTube. And it says, what would you like to see as a Celtic fan? Tag your mates. Get your mates in this. I want to try and get as many Celtic fans from the channel to have their say. So what would you like to see as a Celtic fan? Boycott of UEFA Europa League fixtures is sitting at 13%. Late entry into games protest is sitting at 6%. Boycott of all Celtic products, merch, is sitting at 64%. And daily protests outside Celtic Park is sitting at 18%. I will keep on banging on about the poll on every single video. Can I pin this to the top? No. But I won't be posting. There is the 12. There is this one that's just been posted on it 39 minutes ago, and then right underneath it is the poll. What would you like to see as a Celtic fan? I will keep that up there, and I'll not post anything in so that as many fans can get to that as possible. You can't even link to it, can you? Yeah, you can. I'll just put it in there, and it is in there. If you see, I voted boycott the merch. I think there's a lot of us on this channel believe that, you know, the quickest and easy way for you to get any kind of immediate impact. I know what you're saying. Going in on the 12th minute will affect the team. It'll affect the warm up. It'll affect, you know, but it gets it noticed. It will get the banners noticed. It will get the press guys. The press guys will all be wanting their pictures for to sell to the Daily Record and, you know, the Sun and all the other online places that buy their pictures. They will want the pictures of the fans coming in. TV will want the footage of the fans walking in, and then the protest banners going up. It gets off to a great start. It gives us the impact that we want. But ultimately, we need to go in with something harder. And I think that the only way to do that constructively and quickly is to hit them on the bottom line. And the bottom line is merch. I think Celtic have 8 or 9 stores around Scotland. There should be a boycott of those stores. You then have the superstore, if it's still even called that, at Celtic Park. There should be banners put outside that to boycott on game days. There should be a group of fans telling people why they want them to boycott them, because they won't change, and talking to fans that do not agree with boycotts and talking to them about, well, how do we approach this? What was good about the meeting last night is there was a lot of people that were against things, a lot of people that were for things, but there was no animosity between anyone. There was no animosity between anyone. There was everyone come to a conclusion at the end that this was the best way forward. And it's that from that. Typhoon Flustery says Celtic board could get under a snake's belly with a top hat on, they're that low. Chilpel says that he voted boycott the merch. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the next board meeting. I don't think it would even have got to board meeting status. there would have been phone calls that would happen this week, and the fact is, Michael Nicholson will be sitting in his office, not really giving a flying fuck. I'll be honest. If you're the head of an organisation the size of Celtic, and this is bad media. There's no news. There's no news like good news. There's no no bad media. It's it's all about getting the Celtic name out there. They will not want to change the people on the PLC. They will not want to change the board. As far as they're concerned, it was the football department that got things wrong. The manager should have been able to get through the tie in Kazakhstan, but then this isn't about Kazakhstan. This isn't about the inadequate team that Brendan Rodgers had at Kazakhstan. This is about years and years and years of neglect, managed decline on a consistent basis. Do you think they'll get rid of this board? Think the rugby man would come back? Nope. People in that kind of position never return to the job. He was chased away once. He would say that nope. He wouldn't even put his name forward for it. Stop buying merch. Voted to stop buying merch is Joseph. I can't get a season being supporting Celtic for 55 years. Seen a lot of games, 70s, 80s, 90s. Just don't buy strips and other things. Support the team when needed. It. Yes, and that's what Duncan. I think that's what a lot of us are trying to push forward. The coming in on the 12th minute is not neglecting the team. And people will say, but you're not there for the first 12 minutes of a game. But when the fans come in on the 12th minute and they make as much noise as they can, it has an impact. It had an impact at Celtic before in the motivation that you see the team getting. There's been, it's not the first time that there's been a sort of a late walk-in into games, especially at Celtic Park. It's happened at Celtic Park. But yes, I just buy strips and other things, support the team when they need us. Each to their own. Big Rav wanted to pick all options. The club has treated fans with contempt, but hey-ho, do this on aspects of their business. I have first-hand experience. Yeah. The club treats fans like just a paying customer. They don't see the fans as having a vested interest in the business. The fans are a commodity that they use for their own agenda. When there's full stadium tifos, when there's banners that go around the whole stadium, Celtic use that to their advantage. How good are the Celtic fans? Best fans in the world. We're the best fans in the world when they want us to be. And when they're trying to sell posters. And when they're trying to sell books. And I noticed that they said it was an unannounced merch listing today on the Celtic website to go along with all the other merch that was on the website. They would have been hoping that at this international break that they could have punted out another Adidas range onto the social media, but they thought better of it. They thought, fuck, so we'll just put it onto the website and we'll hope that people buy. The fact that there has been nothing on YouTube at all today by Celtic is a first in a long time. That means that they're taking note. That means that the power brokers have went, hold the fucking bus. The PR guy has went, nothing goes out without my saying at the moment. We need to take stock. We need to take stock of the situation. We need to wait until later today, until there is an announcement by the fucking minions of fucking pain in the arse fuckers outside. That's how they think about us. And then they react. They thought they could win us over by giving you the cheapest tickets for the Europa Cup in Europe. I thought, that's a nice little sweetener. There you go. We'll take a little bit of a hit. We like you all, really. We want you to come to the stadium. Back the team. They will back the team, and the fans will back the team. I blame Lawwell. We should never have been brought back. Yep. Should never have been brought back. Why is there no options to do all actions? There is options to do all actions, and that will come in the future. I'm just reading a message that I got sent earlier. But anyway, right. 12 man absent from the support. Let's jump back into some of the comments. Yeah. We can charge €35 for an away ticket. It came from UEFA. We pay in pounds. So it's costing us more. It doesn't come from UEFA though. We keep the money. There's nothing from UEFA. We're in 2025. We need a full round of approaches to make this work in this era. Yeah, we do, mate. We do. And whilst I may not agree with boycotting certain things, and maybe I'm more to the side that wants immediate action on a daily basis, I can understand why they went down the road of, we'll have a protest, we'll stay outside for 12 minutes and then we'll come in and make as much friggin' noise as we can. It is a great impact way, and it'll be a great visual way, and tell you, every single cameraman inside, you'll actually get more press guys going to Rugby Park now, because they all want to get that picture. They all want to get the banner. They all want to be looking at fucking Lawwell's face. Every single one of them. They'll be taking pictures of the banners. That's a gun. They'll be taking pictures of a banner with one side, and then they'll have their cameras pinpointed on Lawwell, Nicholson, Mackay. That's who the banners are aimed at. They will look and they will take photographs every single minute. They're like 50, 60 pictures a minute to get the exact expression, that look of fear within Michael Nicholson's face. That's what it's good for. To boycott merch and concession stands. It's only their own brand. If boycotted affect the clubs. We're in 2025. We've done that one. Yeah, Stuart, it is good to see that everyone is together with it. I know that there is some splits already. I'm not going to deny that. I know that there are some splits already due to people and other things that I'm not going to talk about in public. I wouldn't do that, but I have mentioned it in the video that I put out on the members bit earlier today. Back in 94, I was spat on, punched and carried on. Going into the ground then, I take it, Raymond. Well, each to their own. No board meetings have taken place. No board meetings have taken place. We all know that. To have a board meeting in place, you've got... it's not going to get resolved anytime soon. What you need to do is... even the whole trying to get 5% thing is a load of nonsense. The agenda that the Celtic Trust has to... it was Peter. Sorry you couldn't get the beer. But if you want a decent beer, that's another one. That's a good one. It is Thursday night after all. Ian Roy says, Baz, we hear a lot of angry fans. But how can we resolve this? And who would take over at Celtic? It's not as easy as we like to think. In fact, it could get worse. It's not about getting people to take over at Celtic. When a CEO leaves an organisation, you have an interim CEO. Someone stands in place until the remaining board members and those with big enough shareholdings get together and say, right, we're going to get in, we need a new CEO. You've got to remember that you have two people doing the job that Peter Lawwell did. You have Michael Nicholson and you have Chris Mackay doing the exact same job that Peter Lawwell did. Now, maybe Peter Lawwell didn't want someone to have the power that he had when he was in charge of Celtic. And maybe that's why he split the jobs. But in Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay, as finance officer, you have two people doing a job that Peter Lawwell pretty much did for years. You don't have to replace all three at once. You can get rid of all three and you can bring in two new people. You're only bringing in a head of an organisation. The head of the organisation as it stands hasn't spoke to the media for as many years. And Chris Mackay's never spoke to the media. What these people do, the organisation still runs. The business still runs. These two, although are figureheads within the company, the day-to-day running of the business runs as normal. They go on a 2-week holiday. People aren't sitting up with their feet on the table when the fucking business collapse. People get on with their jobs as normal. Getting rid of Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay as an agenda has no direct implications on the day-to-day running of Celtic Football Club. It opens up an opportunity. You'll be able to go into LinkedIn and there'll be a fucking post. CEO wanted. Finance officer wanted at Celtic Park. You'll get fucking hundreds of people that will want to put their name forward for that job. People that earn 200, 300, 400 grand a year don't think about the negative connotation of a fan demonstration. They think about the prestige that comes along. They think about the prestige that comes along with being in such an esteemed position within a football organisation. They see it as a stepping stone to an even bigger organisation, a bigger club that pays even more money. Do you know? It is what it is. It is what it is. Can it be a Thursday beer? Yeah, we don't work on a Friday anyway, so well, I do. She doesn't. So Thursday's the start of the weekend, as we say. But then it's here. Let me just jump through this. Celtic board will capitalise if Adidas give them the rocket. Adidas will not give them the rocket. Think about this. A complete boycott of Celtic merchandise for a 2-week period. Right? So let's do some quick. Right, Celtic has, say, 30 million, right? Forget it. If you've got an income stream that stops instantly, Adidas will not say, why are you not selling merch? We're going to pull the deal. They've signed a contract for a lengthy deal. But what it does do, it gets people within the club having to pick up the phone to the likes of Dermot Desmond. And Dermot Desmond and people within the board will say, well, there's an issue here. We've got an immediate shortfall. There's no merchandise sold for 2 weeks. That's when things have to happen. You can't force them then. Nicholson's been proven to have failed his job out. Yeah. But it's not just as simple as that. You can give people a vote of no confidence. What it holds, it's the same as the miners' strikes. You could fucking vote all you want. It means fucking nada. I'm just being honest. Do you know the trade union movement in the UK has fucking been dead for years? I can remember when I had an accident at a factory in the 1990s and I got paid out 1,200 quid. But then I found out the next day that someone else had the exact same accident with the same machine the day before me, and he got paid out 1,200 quid for a lesser injury. Because the union guys in the meeting, I wasn't even in the meeting, the union guys in the meeting with the company will give you this little sweetener, 1,200 quid to shut him up. He's just a young boy. 1,200 quid in one goes, a lot of money to a young guy in his 20s and 1990s. So the board member was like, take it, don't fight this, just take it. I should have fucking fought it, and I would have got way more. I've still got the scar on my leg. But anyway, the board should do the right thing and resign. It's not the whole board that you want to resign, but the people that are in question, they should definitely, their time is up. Celtic fans turning the board because they've run out of things to pretend to be oppressed. This is a superb viewing, says a Hun. Signs up to the channel for that, just to have his little say. And then he gets banned. There's a team across the city that are in, 7th position? And yes, Celtic have let Rangers off the hook this week. The media have let Rangers off the hook. But guess what? Football's back this weekend. Your manager's still shite. Your team's still shite. Celtic will still be top of the table. And then we'll see who has the last this weekend. He's just been banned. But that's what would happen if Kaiser sneaked in and stole the biscuit. Outside of kit sales, do Celtic get a percentage of sales, or do Adidas pay for the use? The Crescent Hoops try buying it. No, Celtic made 30 million from merchandise 2 seasons ago. I'm not sure of what it was last season, but I know that 2 seasons ago they made 32 million from merchandise sales. And that's not just selling strips. That's why they keep coming out, and they've come out with fucking all sorts this year. So it's anyway. Baz, when was the last time you made a contribution to Celtic? A couple of months ago, when I bought the strips. I was at the last game of the season at Celtic Park. We've still got season books in our names. Just saying. Do you know what I mean? If it was ever questioned. But there you go. Nicholson failed the fans, but not the board. Yeah, he has failed the fans, but not the board. Stop buying merch. When was the last time you were at a game, mate? I've got thousands and thousands of... I'm not getting into that. Stop buying merch altogether. It takes years. If it's 2 years, it wouldn't take 2 years, Paul. You know the way that big business works. If there was a month to go by with no merch sales or a dramatically reduced merch sales, someone would get the chop straight away, and hopefully it would be one of the three. And it comes down to them. It's the head of the company. The heads have to roll in any company. Yeah, I got fucked by my hand. Just throwing it at lawyers and says, yeah, pay me. Yeah, Charlie, I totally get what you're saying with that. And never accept the first offer. Yeah, I know. I was only in my early 20s. I was 23, 24. I didn't know better. I trusted the union rep. Hence, I've never been a big Labour supporter since the 1990s. I crossed the divide at that point and joined the SNP. That'll fucking annoy a lot of folk. Anyway, unpopular opinion, withhold the direct debit on season ticket renewal. And no, because you'll then, John, you'll lose your season ticket. And that's not what we want fans to do. If you withhold your direct debit payment for the first instalment, and if you don't pay it, you lose your season ticket, and that's not what's going to happen. Desmond is more interested in Rovers. They're making millions of their academy players. We flog girls for buttons. Celtic are becoming a headache for him. Interesting. Michelle says, Charlie, I got their dodgy team. Think we're going to be a massive win or a struggle. Peter King. Cheers. Right, let's get on to the game this weekend. We haven't been speaking about the game this weekend much. There is a game this weekend. And I think that don't worry about the team, because I think Brendan Rodgers he's had the best part of a week with all the new players. He's had time with the players that aren't on international duty, and all the players would have been back at Celtic Park today. They were back in training, and I don't think there's much to worry about. Do you know, we've not been bad in the league. I don't think that because of one game in Europe, and it was a depressing game in Europe, but I can't see that continuing. Do you know, Brendan Rodgers pulled Eisner aside. Like, mate, you weren't meant to speak about it. Is your head okay? If Daizen Maeda's head's not okay, he'll not be playing at the weekend. It's as simple as that. But anyway, we will get to tomorrow, and we will talk about Brendan Rodgers' interview tomorrow night. I don't normally do a live on a Friday night, as you all know, but I think after the press conference tomorrow, I think that will be quite important that we analyse what Brendan has to say, and it will give us an indication of the thinking of the way forward by the board. Let's just say that. And it will give us an indication on where we think that the fan base will go in the next step. Tomorrow we'll do a full analysis of the team, and we think who might play at the weekend also. And maybe even a few score predictions. But then again, maybe not. Because we've been absolutely terrible with the score predictions. And if you are a betting man, if you scroll up to the top of the chat on the channel, there is a link. If you're into a bit of match betting, it's a fantastic way to beat the bookies, as they say, and you can join and try it out for free. If you like a little bit of match betting, I've done it before. Because I'm not in the UK, I've got to put VPNs in and shit now. But for folk in the UK, it is a great way to beat the bookies. Anyway, on that note, how many folk has there been on the toast? Quite not mad number tonight. There's been over 1,400 folk on tonight, which is better than expected. But anyway, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, the lot of you, all around the world.